Good morning, singing friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Mickey here, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. I'm just here hanging out with my new gigantic dog, Falcor. Let's see if I can get her to come over and say hello. Falcor, come here. This room is very messy, I apologize. We did a garage sale and we still have some stuff to get rid of. This is Falcor. Hello, Fluff Noodle. Hello, hello. She's like, what is that thing? I've never seen a phone before. All right, so today we're doing a request from Michael German, and it is for the band Speed of Light, and the song is called Pain on a Chain. So he writes, this Gen Z family band from Santa Monica, California, features youngest sibling Riley Christensen, along with her older brothers Tyler on the drums and Cameron on lead guitar. This video was just released a few days ago. Riley is still just 17, and it is incredible to see the growth and evolution of her and this band in such a short time. They have done no cover songs, relying entirely on their own organic material. They have not signed with a label. They have not yet put out their first album, and they have now been noticed by The Warning, who have invited them to be the opening band for their US summer tour. Are you chewing on something you're not supposed to be eating? Oh, you're trying to chew a hole in my rug? Falcor, don't do that, please. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to give her something to chew that's not my rug. All right, I'm back. She's 6 months, so she's a puppy. She's still teething. All right, so where was I? Oh, so they've been noticed by The Warning, who have invited them to be the opening band for their US summer tour starting this month. It is also amazing to see a band that is driven by an emerging star who is still only 17 years old, but is the closest thing to a sure thing to be a star. You may recall reacting to earlier iterations of this band when Riley was 13 and was doing some fun hair helicoptering with the song Break. I do remember that. I really enjoyed their energy and their vibe at that time, and I already saw a huge amount of growth between the first song that I reacted to and the second one. So Mike has been very kind and included the lyrics, so let's go through them first and then we'll listen to the song. So it says, so again, this song is called Pain on a Chain, and it says, got something bad inside of me, think they want to get out, 1,000 voices screaming, they're all a part of me now. Won't let them out of me, no, they ain't getting free, I got this. Pain on a chain, I got this. Pain on a chain, I'll keep them inside of me, save you from the sin, they made a home inside of me, but they ain't getting free. Won't let them out of me. No, they ain't getting free. I got this. Pain on a chain, I got this. Pain on a chain. Think I need to get it out of me. That repeats. And then the pain on a chain, I got this repeats as well. So from just reading the lyrics, this kind of gives me like a punk rock vibe. It's definitely like more edgy. And I think that is a very relatable, sentiment, you know, feeling like we have bad things inside of us, like everybody has bad parts to their personality and they worry about like the darker sides of their character and having to like control them, and also protect the people around you from the darker sides of the darker elements of your personality. I think there is a struggle inside all of us, right, to do the right thing and be good people and to constantly evolve and to suppress our more base instincts and emotions like envy and anger and violence, right? So I do think that everybody has the capacity for good and evil, and I think this is an interesting take on that. Obviously, it's less abstract and poetic than some of the lyrics that we've been looking at recently with the more mature, older artists, but there is something that's like refreshing too about how straightforward this one is. So let's see if it sounds punk rock. Here we go.
Got something bad inside me. Think they wanna get out. 1,000 voices screaming. They're all a part of me now. Won't let them out of me.
So I like this very much so far. I would definitely say this harkens back to like kind of Riot Girl era alternative stuff. This reminds me very much of like Hole, you know, and actually physically, appearance-wise, she looks a lot like Frances Bean when she was younger, you know, Frances Bean Cobain. And she's got kind of that aesthetic, right, with the like baby doll dress and the lipstick and the haircut and everything. So for me, obviously this taps into a nostalgia nerve. I loved all of that music growing up. I was very into Nirvana, and so tangentially I was also into Hole and all these other bands. And then in terms of her singing, she obviously that style of singing is not really like into being perfect and enunciating everything clearly. It's more about the vibe, and she's definitely has like a cool kind of slurred, mumbly enunciation rather than being really crisp with what she's saying. Like inside me, right? You're not really hearing the D. It's kind of all just like flowing together. And then there's a lot of bending going on. So bending into pitches, right? Rather than being like da, 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 da. Everything is kind of like coming in from the pitch below or from the pitch above. So it's all very like stylized and cool, and it gives it that like kind of nonchalant, insouciant vibe, like you're too cool to care that much. And then when you get into the chorus, she goes into that distorted, screamy singing, and this is actually a lot of distortion. So what I mean by that is you're not really hearing any tone almost, like it almost dissolves into this like false vocal fold kind of rather than having like a tone that's more blown out and has like a little bit of distortion on top of it. And that also is very typical of that kind of like Courtney Love type of singing, right? Or if you think about like the band Jack Off Jill or any of those like Riot Girl bands. So I really like it. I think the energy is nostalgic and taps into that for me, but it also is fresh, you know, and there's just something about like people at this age, like that kind of like young adult age, that's just perfect for bands, you know. They just have that like that energy, and they've got a lust for life, and they've got a naivete, and they're like confident and coming into themselves, and it's just like a really great age. You know, it's like, it's the appropriate age for singing something like this. So I'm enjoying it very much. Very cool.
I carried them inside of me. Save you from the sin. They made a home inside of me. But they ain't getting free. Won't let them out of me.
yeah, so very, very cool. I think they're a lot tighter than the last time that I saw them. They continue to evolve. This definitely feels like a direct reference to like Nirvana and Hole and that whole movement. Even like the pronunciation of words, right? With like, rather than me, it's like May and Frey, right? Those are all kind of like very Kurt Cobain-y isms, you know? If you go back and listen to the way that he pronounced things, he almost sung with like a Southern accent or something, you know? And you can hear like she's purposefully allowing her voice to break and crack in certain sections. And then when she gets to the chorus, she begins it with a belt with just a little bit of distortion layered on top of it, right? So it's pretty much a pure belt in the chorus. That won't let them out of me, right? There's like a little tiny bit of distortion on that. But then when she gets to the pain on a chain, right? It's much more vocal, like false vocal foldy distortion, where it's really just pure distortion rather than like a tone that's pushing so hard that it's kind of like fraying. So I really like it. I think it's really cool that all of this music is kind of like coming back around. I think the song is really straightforward. It's very memorable because there's nothing like too complex going on. And I like the format of the 3-piece because it is so direct, you know? So for me, this really taps into something that recalls my teenagehood and the music that I was listening to. But it also has like a certain freshness to it and a youthful energy. So I really like it. I can see why The Warning would be attracted to something like this and want to promote something like this. I think their sounds are complementary. And yeah, I continue to be really curious to see where they go. I think it's a cool video. I like her outfit change from like the white with the long flowy dress and the pale skin and the red lips, right? Super grunge, to the black top when she's singing the choruses. I think they sound great. They look the part. They look like, you know, young Jeff Buckley and Frances Bean Cobain, like that whole vibe. So I think it's really working for them. And I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I enjoyed it very much. Hopefully you enjoyed my reaction. And I'll see you guys here next time. Until then, take care. And of course, happy singing. Bye.